This is my review of the Bach Stradivarius 180 Series Model 37 trumpet. The Model 37 is the most popular of the Bach trumpets sold on the market today and is the #1 selling professional trumpet worldwide. It can be found on Amazon.com for just shy of $2,900, including free shipping, and has a 4.9 star rating out of 19 reviews. Okay, so what does the Bach Stradivarius Model 37 trumpet come with? It comes with the hard shell case, it comes with the instrument itself, and it comes with a 7C mouthpiece as the standard size. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the construction on the instrument itself. First of all, here where the mouthpiece fits into the lead pipe, it is a nice, secure fit. The mouthpiece is not loose at all. This is a very important, inexpensive instrument. Sometimes the mouthpiece is loose, and you'll never have a success playing the trumpet if you don't have a nice, tight mouthpiece. The mouthpiece is nice and snug into the lead pipe. As we travel down the way the air flows through the instrument, we get here to the tuning slide, and you'll notice the tuning slide is double braced, one on either side of where it moves. There's a seam right here where the tuning slide can be pulled out, and it's braced on either side. This is a great feature for more quality instruments, and the purpose of it being braced on either side is if this tuning slide is removed, the pipes on either side of that actually still have quite a bit of rigidity and are less likely to get bent. So it's a good feature for it to be double braced. Also, as we travel down here, the valves are made of Monel, which is a type of metal manufacturing. It's found in the more high quality instruments. Monel and stainless steel are the two preferred types of valve casings or valve construction. This particular instrument has Monel. There's a debate on the internet as to which is better. But to tell you the truth, in 25 years of owning this instrument, I've had very little problems with the valves, and they've worn very, very consistently. The sound of them is still very great, even 25 years later. So I've found the valves to be of great quality. Also, we have on the third valve slide here, the ring is a solid ring. It's not an adjustable ring. Some people prefer the adjustable ring. For me, I actually like the solid ring. The adjustable ring I've had fall off during performances and find it quite distracting. So my preference is this solid ring. Also back here you'll find a first valve saddle. This allows you to keep the instrument in tune in lower ranges by being able to move that first slide out. Again, it's a saddle, not a ring. I prefer the saddle. Some people have a ring, but I find it somewhat constricting for my thumb just because I'm not used to it. So other things about the instrument, you'll notice a mechanism down here, and what that mechanism is it's actually an adjustable lock to allow you to only push the third valve slide out so far. So you can find out where that position needs to be for you, for the instrument to stay in tune, and adjust how far that third valve slide will travel out. A unique characteristic about this trumpet is if we turn it here, the rings at the top of the valves on the valve caps, most trumpets are felt. Some trumpets actually just have a metal cap. This particular instrument uses rubber discs in here, and I found the rubber discs are very reliable. They've lasted a long time, and they are quite quiet. When the valve comes down, you hear just a nice little thump, but you don't get a ting, a metal ting like you do on some instruments where you actually have metal versus metal. It's kind of a nice feature. At first I wasn't sure about it, how long those discs would last, but 25 years later they're still in great condition and work just fine. Another feature of this instrument is the water key, or sometimes referred to as a spit valve, is only on the tuning slide. The third valve slide here, many trumpets have another water key here. This particular instrument does not. When I was new to the instrument, I thought, well, that's not going to work. I need to get the spit out of here. However, you'll find out most of the saliva is in your tuning slide. This often has very little saliva in it, so it's not much of an issue. Also, this outer section does pull off, and you can dump it during a performance. Wouldn't be ideal. I would prefer there to be a water key there if it was feasible. However, I've heard the sound quality and tone quality is better with it being a solid piece of metal and no water key attached there. So a different feature of the Bach Stradivarius. Okay, so some other information about the Bach Stradivarius. This instrument is made of yellow brass and is silver plated. A lot of the lower quality silver colored trumpets on the internet are actually nickel plated. The higher quality instruments are silver plated. The color difference is slight, but this is a true silver plated instrument. As I mentioned before, it has the Monel valves. Again, that's a benefit over some of the other types of valves. Like I said a second ago, Monel and stainless steel tend to be the two preferred construction of valves. This instrument weighs 2.6 pounds. I found on the internet where it said it weighed 4.8 pounds. I weighed it with a airline luggage scale, and it actually weighed out to be 2.6 pounds. That's a nice weight for a student being able to hold it up for a long period of time during a performance. It's a little heavy for a new student, but for a student that's been playing long, the weight shouldn't be much of a factor. With the case and all, it comes in at 12 pounds total. The bell here on the end is a 4.8-inch bell. The lead pipe is a 0.459 diameter bore, and it's considered a medium to large bore instrument. Like I said in the intro, this is the most popular of the Bach trumpets on the market today, and it is the #1 professional selling trumpet worldwide. So let's talk about some pros and cons of the instrument. First, let's talk about the pros. The Bach Stradivarius Model 37 is a proven design that's been around for a long time. Parts are easily accessible. If you search on Amazon, you can find all sorts of parts, from the springs for the valve to even these little nuts for the third valve slide, the new spring assembly and cork pieces for the water keys. Pretty much everything is available in as far as parts go, so that you can keep your trumpet in good working order. Now, some lower quality instruments, that's not the case. Parts can be hard to come by. With the Bach Stradivarius, this is not a problem. I found this to be a great sounding and very reliable trumpet. Like I said, I've had this for over 25 years, and I've had yet to have anything break on it, and the sound quality has been phenomenal. Some trumpets over time, the sound quality deteriorates as you start to get air leaks. I don't know that this trumpet sounds any different now versus the day that I got it. It seems to be very solid construction. I haven't had any of the welds break. The bracing seems very solid. The trumpet still seems very rigid. There's no flex to it. A trumpet that's lesser quality, there can be some flex to the instrument, and some of the braces can break, or it's not braced enough, and the instrument is not rigid. That's not the case with this one. This is a very rigid, very reliable, very consistent instrument. The most problematic area for most trumpets is the valves, and these valves are still in great working order. If I sit here and push them up and down, they make a little bit of noise. Over time they've gotten a little louder, but they're very responsive. They're very easy to push down, except at the same time they're not so soft that they push down on their own. So the valves have been very reliable. Now and then you do get a sticky valve. A little oil solves that without any problem. The slides on this trumpet also work very well. I've never had any trouble with them sticking. They move pretty freely, and they're nice and tight where they don't leak air. The amazing thing with this trumpet is it actually sat in the case for 10 years. I pulled it out of the closet after 10 years, and the slides still moved. None of them were stuck. The corrosion wasn't much of a problem. The trumpet was still in great working order. I gave it a bath, re-oiled the valves, re-greased the slides, and the trumpet worked just as well as the day I put it away. So some things I like about this instrument. I do like the rubber caps on the valves. Like I said, when it was new, I wasn't sure if I was like that, but I found that actually I do prefer that to the felt or the metal caps that you'll find on other instruments. The adjustable third valve slide, this mechanism down here, I really like that. I've seen a few other instruments that also have it on the first valve slide. I kind of wish they had one there, but I do like the feature of the adjustable valve slide. So that's kind of a nice feature. I will warn you though, these nuts, if they're not tightened down tightly, will fall off, and they're easy to lose, but they can be purchased, replacement ones can be purchased on Amazon. I like that the third valve slide ring is permanently attached to the instrument. Again, that's a preference thing, but I like that it's permanently affixed and can't fall off during a performance. And again, I like the first valve saddle as opposed to a ring on the thumb valve. Okay, so what are the cons to this instrument? There's not a whole lot of cons on my list, but there are a few things that I wish that they would have done differently. Like I mentioned before, it was a little strange not having a water key on the third valve slide down here. It took me a while to get used to. I've adjusted over time. If it didn't affect tone quality, it would be a nice feature to have a water key there. But again, if it's about tone quality, I understand why it's not there. Secondly, as I open the tuning slide valve here, you'll notice a change in color, and you'll see the yellow brass underneath the instrument. One of the things I wish that they would have done is either extended the silver plating down the instrument a ways. When I play the instrument, my tuning slides out about that far, and I really don't like the look of that yellow brass being exposed. At the same time, I think maybe it had to do with the slide moving freely up and down, and maybe they didn't silver plate it so that it moved better. In my particular instrument, the silver bleeds as it goes down the slide, and I wish that either they would have cut it off so that it was a nice clean break on the silver finish, or that they would have extended that silver down so when the tuning slide is extended that you don't see the yellow brass underneath. I know that's getting a little nitpicky, but I wish that they would have done something a little different there. So probably the largest con to the Bach Stradivarius Model 37 is the price. This instrument being nearly $3,000 is a pretty big chunk of money for someone to spend. I would not spend that kind of money on a student that is new to playing the instrument, or even maybe has only played for a year or two. I would make sure that your student is very serious about playing the instrument before I would spend that kind of money. So my overview of the Bach Stradivarius Model 37. I found it to be a great instrument. For me particularly, I found that it's slightly flat on some of the lower notes. I think it sounds great on the medium to high range notes, and it's a great sounding instrument overall. If you can afford the $3,000 price, this is a great instrument and should last you for many, many years to come. Stay tuned if you want to hear some short examples of how the instrument sounds.